I'd like to introduce to all of you now some old and good friends of mine in the Blue Oyster Cult, the Pat Travers Band!
Hi, my name's Dave T, and you're listening to Pirate Radio Cleopatra. This is a special edition. It's called the Vintage Interviews, as you probably read on the page. Vintage Interviews, where I go back through the archive and find hopefully fun conversations with many of the artists who have recorded or reissued material on Cleopatra over the years. And we're going to start this series with a conversation with Pat Travers, looking back over some of the live albums he has reissued with us over the years, and also talking about his very first days in London, which is where I first saw him back in 1976, I believe, and where he played around for 2 or 3 years before moving to the United States. Of course, he was originally from Canada. It's a great interview. I remember it so well, and we're going to start actually with one of the first shows I saw by him. He was opening for the Doctors of Madness, who were at that time, this was just before punk, at that time were one of my favourite bands. It was the most bizarre bill I had ever encountered. And it turns out that Pat agrees with me. So let's jump back to the mid-1970s, Pat Travers and the Doctors of Madness.
Oh, man, that was, sometimes I occasionally look back on that and go, what the fuck were we doing? It was so grim and just...
I loved the Doctors, I have to admit.
Well, I listened to them just recently, and I kind of found something I liked about them, but at the time, they were sort of counter to everything that was happening.
But you were with Polydor, who seemed to love putting their artists on ridiculous bills.
Right, but we did our first tour was with Alex Harvey Band.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, and that was a great tour. We did about, we hit all of the theaters and all the major cities in the UK, and it was just great.
Yeah, that must.
So then it was after that we went out with the Doctors of Madness. a bit of a step down, to say the least.
I don't know. I mean, this, at the time, the Doctors were just, they were just so beyond anything else I'd ever heard.
Yeah.
The mad...
Or saw. They kind of an interesting
it's like the
stage presence.
Yeah, the mad violin and the bass player dressed as a skeleton.
Crazy. I remember they had, I guess they called it a bomb pit, and it was just a big oil drum that they put explosives in, and it just went bang, right? It was so ridiculously loud. I don't know why they did it, but then, of course, the smoke from that just hung in the air. There was no fans or anything to blow it away.
In the town, oh, razor blade safe and things you look like a clown. Well, what's going down? It's just the same old sounds. The energy has always been touch up for me. Yeah.
The Doctors. And you also heard there a snatch of Life in London, which was the opening track on Pat's second album in 1977. That was a live version recorded the following year, taken from the Heat and the Streets album. This is one of many Pat Travers live albums that Cleopatra have released over the last few years. And we're going to be talking about one of those, live in Baltimore 82, shortly. But first I thought I'd take Pat back to his very first days in London, and in fact his very first live show. Over to you, Pat.
Came to London in 75, and then, I actually ended up getting a record deal before the end of that year, so everything started happening in 76.
Yeah. And
then, and I remember the Marquee.
Great.
I don't know. I played there the first time, and we were opening for a band called Up, UPP.
I remember them. Oh, God, yeah.
Keyboard band that Jeff Beck had something to do with.
Yeah.
So we get to the Marquee. Jeff Beck is there. Who else was there? It's fucking amazing. But it was my first gig. For me, I knew about the Marquee. I mean, it's, been an iconic venue for decades. And so it was kind of cool.
And that was Making Magic, which was the title track from Pat's third album. That was also recorded live in 1977, and it was one of the bonus tracks on the Live at Reading 1980 live CD. So Pat, tell us please about the Reading Festival.
Yeah, the Reading, I played Reading twice. I did it in 76, and then I did it
thought you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would have seen you there as well.
And I think that the recording from that, I mean, talk about rough, that was just, I don't even know if it was stereo. But, people love it. It doesn't sound perfect, but it sounds live.
It really has that crunchiness that you want from a live show. And Reading, I mean, despite the weather and the mud and the idiots, it's always so much fun.
I know. I went for the first time in 75. By that time, I think I had a record deal, and I knew the Thin Lizzy guys pretty good. And, I remember getting trashed, and just in the mud.
Yeah.
It was, UK. It was different.
Yeah.
The crowd could be really supportive.
Yeah.
But they could get vicious too. I remember, I forget who, somebody came on and everybody started throwing beer cans in the air. And, from a distance it looked okay, but boy, if you were in the middle of it, they were coming down on your head.
Yeah.
A lot of them still had beer in them,
And that was Born Under a Bad Sign, which was indeed recorded at the Reading Festival in August 1980. So we're going to jump ahead 2 years now. It's December the 9th, 1982. And you have to say that Pat was truly in his prime now. He had 7 albums behind him. He'd been living in the States for 4 years. And he was backed up by one of the most exhilarating live shows of the age. If you've heard 1979's live Go For What You Know, or better still, Reading, or Snorting Whiskey at the Warfield, which was also 1980, both are tremendous records. Really some of the best hard rock of the era. And by 82 he'd turned the heat up even further. Things were just so exciting. But there was also some bad sides as well. So let's go back to Pat, and he can tell you the story a lot better than I can.
You know, at that time, well, I had kind of added some people to my live band and recording band. I had a keyboard player, and then I had another guy, Joey Jelf, who sang backing vocals, so I had like a 5-piece band at that point. And yeah, I was trying to do something a little more sophisticated.
Sometimes a good move, sometimes not.
Exactly. Well, it was a strange period for me, just personally and business-wise, and there were a lot of distractions at that point, because I'd broken up with my first manager, and, you know, was discovering all of his shenanigans.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and so, and then I was in a crappy marriage, and just usual stuff. But you know, I remember doing that show, and Buck Dharma, Donald Rosen from Blue Oyster Cult, got up and played with us on that show, too.
Were you, was the show recorded for any specific reason, or were you just recording it?
That's what I don't know. I think maybe it was supposed to be a live broadcast or something on the radio.
Oh, that's possible.
So, I'm not sure. That's, you know what? I have no idea why we recorded that.
Glad you did.
I didn't have anything to do with that actual production, really.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if I'd done it, it would have been. I'm sure it was just a stereo recording. I doubt very much whether, it was a multi-track thing, so.
I mean, it sounds bloody good.
Yeah, well, someday they got it right. Yeah, I'll have to have a listen to it. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny after all these years, we will accept sort of less than studio quality live albums now.
Yeah. But, people generally like a rougher sounding live mix.
Yeah, I do.
Even though they don't know it, you know what I mean? It's not like, they're not consciously saying, oh, this one's too high fidelity.
No.
But, when it's a little trashy, it just has more energy and sounds more urgent,
Yeah, I was listening to some of the things Thin Lizzy have put out lately, like the shows from 76, 77.
They were great band live.
Yeah.
They were one of the first bands I ever saw. I saw them at the Chalk Farm at the Roundhouse there.
Oh, yeah. I love the Roundhouse.
Yeah, it was a cool venue.
Yeah.
And, and then I immediately, the following week, went over and introduced myself to their managers, Chris O'Donnell and Chris something else.
Yeah.
And, that was funny. Because I didn't know any rules. I didn't know anything. I thought, well, I'm here in London. I like this band. I'm going to need managers, so I'll just go over there and see them. They were down in Soho somewhere, but
impetuous youth.
Yes.
Yeah, and the live albums they've put out now, they're so different to the official live album, which was great, but it was really clean and slick.
Yeah, and that, rock and roll, it isn't supposed to be like that live anyway. It's going to have an edginess to it and almost not be too predictable. You know what I mean? Like, there should be surprises in live recordings. Unintentional things.
Yes, of course. So you just released, gosh, which album was it in '82? Black Pearl?
Black Pearl, which, was, for me, one of my best records, I think. And the playing and the production. But unfortunately, I was in the middle of separating from my original manager, and I had Doc McGee coming on board to help me.
Ah.
Yeah, and Doc, man, he owes me big time. I introduced him to Kiss. He's great. I love Doc. But I had a lot of court things going on, and so it was just a stressful period.
Yeah, because you'd also just had that weird battle with Polydor, hadn't you?
Yeah, and I didn't really want to have a battle with them.
No.
But because, we were one of the first people to do a Chapter 7 bankruptcy to get out of the record deal.
It's ridiculous.
And, of course, Polygram didn't want that to happen.
No.
Because if that happened, then everybody'd be doing it, which is basically what ended up happening. I think Mick Fleetwood did it next.
Yes.
So, it was a strange time, and they kept us tied up for a little bit, and unfortunately, the whole Polygram, the personnel, they all were gone now, so...
Yeah, of course.
3 years after the fact of my first album or so, and there's just nobody there. We're not high priority anymore. And so it was a little disappointing because I thought it was a great album. We were out there promoting it, touring and everything.
But it was also sort of, it must have been an exciting period because, of course, you'd got the song in the movie coming up.
Oh, in that Nicolas Cage movie?
Oh God, was it a Nicolas Cage movie? I love
Valley
you.
Girl?
Yes,
No.
yes.
Yeah. I'd forgotten about that. Strange. I've never actually seen that movie.
I saw it at the time, I think, and that was it.
Yeah. But apparently the part in the movie where they play my tune is pretty good. It showcases it nicely, and I think they play almost the whole tune, which is unusual. Yeah. It was cool. And we had a song in another movie, Sideways, which was about 10 years ago, I guess. It was Paul Giamatti and David Hine Church or something, I forget the guy's name. And they used Norton whiskey. It's awesome, yeah. Sideways. It actually won an Oscar for screenplay, I think, or something. But it's a funny part. I'm sure you could go to YouTube.
Yeah.
And just go Sideways, Norton whiskey, Pat Travers scene, and you'll laugh.
And there it'll be, yeah. That was such a great opening track to the album. I remember when I first heard it, it was like, my God, it's like you hit the ground running so hard.
With Norton whiskey?
No, La La La, Love You.
Oh, La La La.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I love that song, and the actual recording, the production is so good. Unfortunately, the master half-inch tape got burned up in a fire along with a whole bunch of other stuff.
Oh, the unit.
They came to make a CD of that album. They didn't have the original tape, so they had to use an acetate. They had to use the original album master they got.
And that was indeed I La 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 Love You. That was taken from the Live in Baltimore 1982 album. And, well, that's it for this episode of Pirate Radio Cleopatra Vintage Interviews. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will go out and play as much Pat Travers as you can lay your hands on. Your ears will definitely be thanking you. So thanks to Pat for talking to us. And, yeah, we'll see you next time with another vintage interview.